Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Data Engineer Insights with Nisha Agrawal. So in this video, this is exciting. I come with video for the JP Morgan Chase interview experience for the data engineer role, especially. So I have given this JP Morgan and Chase interview before 1 year ago, something time. So I have cleared the JP Morgan Chase round for that data engineer position in the Bangalore-based location. So I am going to tell you the complete like roadmap and also the interview experience what I faced during the JP Morgan Chase and interview experience. So in this video I am going to cover in the part wise manner. So first part in the interview, first round is happen on the screening round, then we have the on-site interview. So in the on-site interview we have technical round 1, then technical round 1 2, and then we have a techno manager round, and finally we have the senior director engineering round with the senior director of the JP Morgan and Chase, and finally offer released by the JP Morgan for the data engineer role. So let's get started. So first round is on the on-site screening round. So in the on-site screening round, they is asked on the this round is taken by the senior engineering manager of the JP Morgan and Chase. So in this round they mostly focus on the some SQL, Python, AWS and data pipeline technologies, because they are asking, they have the heavily based on the AWS and data pipeline. So they ask the previous experience in the Misho. When I was working in the Misho, they asked previous experience, what are the technologies and tools I used in the previous company. So they ask some question on the Terraform, Java versioning, okay, Java replica class. So some question on the Java classes they ask, okay, and after that they ask some question on Terraform working, because Terraform is basically used for like we have a cloud formation, okay, for the creation of the service in the cloud using some kind of tools which help to create the provisioning the service in the cloud. It can be GCP, it can be AWS, it can be Azure. So they ask something question related to that. This round goes around 30 minutes something. They are general questions on my previous project and resume deep dive, because this is a screen round to check whether is a candidate is suitable for the next round or not. So this round is cleared by me. After that we have the on-site interviews, which are for two technicals. One is hiring manager round and one is the director round, happen in the next interview. So now coming to the JP Morgan, first round is totally based on SQL, Python and data structure and algorithm, along with some Java versioning, Spark question and big data concept. So this round goes more than 1 hour, because there are a lot of question I have to given the answer in the given time frame question. So first they ask some SQL question. So I will advise to focus on the window function, because 100% one question coming from the window function. It can be dense rank, it can be rank function, it can be row number function, okay. Then after that I will advise you focus on joins, and self join is very important, because multiple question can come on the self join. So as you can see that write a SQL query to find the consecutive number which appear at least 3 times one after other without interpretation. So in this question I have to solve this coding question using lead lag in the window function, and I also have to solve this coding question using the self join. So that's why I'm telling you self join and in window function and subquery CT are very important topic that you have to focus on before any round. It can be JP Morgan, it can be any other general companies which are hiring for the data engineer role, because SQL is the topmost skills. Then coming to the Python. So in Python I will say that as I mentioned in my multiple videos, you can see the data engineer roadmap for cracking the top product based company like JP Morgan, other companies, Google, Amazon. So in this video I have told that like some question on array, stack, queue, linked list, they will definitely focus on this question. The reason is they are purely coding based round, okay. So they will not ask the theory question, they will ask the question on the coding. They will give coding question on the tree, graph, list, stack, and they can give the question on the dictionary as well, and they will ask you to write the code, and code should be compiled, okay. They will give online compiler, or you can sometimes they can ask you to write the code on the notepad so that they can check the logic. So I will advise you focused on list, array, string, dictionary and tuple. After that you have to focus on file handling, and you should know the multi-threading concept in the Python. This is very important topic for any company, not specific to the JP Morgan. Now coming to the data structure part. Data structure will be easy to medium, not tough, because data engineer expectation for the data structure is not tough. It's only for the software engineer, but I will advise focus on data structure because it's a compulsory round in mostly companies and it's a standard. So you have to focus on array, stack, queue, linked list and tree, and basics of the graph. In tree you can focus on binary tree and binary search tree. So some question like that, convert the binary tree to the binary search tree using the level traverser, one order level traverser. So this type of question they can ask, and you have to focus on time complexity, like how to find the time complexity for the code during the interview. So they can, when you are writing the code, they can ask what is the time complexity, what is the worst time complexity. Is, let's suppose I want to optimize this code, okay, to log n. Example, your code is taking big O n square. and they ask to run the code in the big O login. Okay, so they can ask the optimization question in the on the code which you have written, and they can ask what is the space complexity, how to remove the space complexity in the code. So this type of question they can definitely ask in the first round of interview. In the so JP Morgan conclusion, first round is based on SQL, Python, and data structure. In first round, this is the part, and this SQL, Python, DSA, every company will definitely ask in the interview. So you have to focus on this round 100% for cracking the data engineer role in a product-based company. Now coming to the first round of interview, first round is not completed till yet. In the first round, expectation is SQL, Python, and data structure, and some question on the Java, CI/CD, like CI/CD, Jenkins, and Terraform, some tools, and Spark definitely. So in the Terraform, Jenkins, they ask some question like question out write the Terraform configuration to for configuring the EC2 machine to understand how the Terraform works in the cloud. Okay, so let's take an example. I want to set up EC2 machine. There are multiple ways to set up EC2 machine in the cloud. One using the Google AWS console. Second, AWS CLI command we can create, and some third one is we can use some kind of a tool which is a Terraform and Cloud Formation, which is a part of AWS for configuring and provisioning the service in the cloud. Let's suppose I want to set up EC2 machine. So one way is to directly go to the console, click on the button, create button, and you can create the EC2 machine. But let's suppose in the production environment you have to automate the process. So in the automation process and in the production environment you need some kind of tool which will automatically configure the EC2 machine using some kind of configuration. That configuration, they ask some question on configuration, how Terraform works, what is the configuration of the Terraform, and let's suppose life cycle of the Terraform. So this type of question expectation in the first round of interview. Then definitely Spark, Hadoop, and MapReduce, because still now companies are not using MapReduce, but some question can be coming on the MapReduce and Hive, because Hive and Hadoop, the reason is these are the basic terminology you should know before going to the any interview, because this is like a basic code skills and foundation skills that you have to 100% focus on. So like a question on Bloom filter, which is a very important scenario, where you can apply the Bloom filter. So I will advise you focus on Bloom filter is a topic in Spark which is used for the lookup operation. Okay, and what is the benefit of using the lookup operation. Then they ask some question, can you describe some technique for optimizing Spark job for better performance? So I will say there are 5 optimization techniques you should remember before going for any interview. One is the sorting technique. Second, you should know broadcast join. Third, you should know repartition and coalescing. Then fourth, you should know cache and persistent. And fifth one in Spark 3 version, we have the process called adaptive query execution. So these things you should know before going for an interview in the Spark optimization. Then they ask question on the database side, database cluster provisioning, what is the costing, how you can calculate the cost of the database, all-purpose cluster, database job cluster using database unit, and the backend cost. Then they ask some question on imagine you have a Spark job that involve working taking the custom data type. Let's suppose you want to create the custom data types and you want to create custom like a UDF function. Okay, so taking a basic example, they will ask how to create UDF function in Spark, which function is faster, UDF function or the built-in function. So your answer should be built-in function is faster, because Spark has optimization for the built-in function as compared to the like a UDF function, because UDF function is defined by the users, not through the Sparks. Okay, so they can ask on the question on the Spark Hadoop architecture, how is Hadoop work, explain the concept of data locality in Hadoop. Then they can ask question on the job performance, how the MapReduce job work. Can we have only mapper job in the MapReduce job? The answer is yes. We can set the number of reducer in the reducer job to 0. So this will help in lot of question. Okay, so I will suggest for the first round of interview, focus on the mostly SQL, Python, and data structure. And also definitely in the big data engineer, definitely Spark is the most skill along with the SQL and Python. You should definitely know for going for any interview in a company like a good product based company, because they will definitely ask question on the SQL, Python, and Spark. So the first round went well, and I cleared the first round, and in conclusion the first round happened on SQL, Python, data structures, some question on Java, CI/CD, and Spark. Java question like concurrency question, they ask me like how you can handle the Java concurrency using like synchronization, multi-threading. Some question on collection, semaphore variable, like a general question. There is one question, is Java a purely OOPS language? Answer is no, because Java support the primitive data types. You can mention that. Then what is the difference between primitive data types and the wrapper class in the Java? So this type of question you can expect in the first round of the interview. Now coming to the second round of interview, which is the technical round 2. In the technical round 2, there are multiple topics they ask, like question on Spark, question on AWS, question on like a big data concept, question on SQL and Python as well. They also ask the SQL Python in the second round of interview. So in the second round, they mostly focus on the Spark part. So in the Spark, I will advise again same topic, focus on Spark optimization technique. This is 100% you will get the question in mostly companies, because this is a commonly asked question. Even you can check on the internet. This is a commonly asked question, Spark optimization technique. Then you can focus on difference between collect and repartition, how collecting work, how repartitioning work in the Spark. Then you should know how to persist the data, like different level persistent, what is the by default level in the persistent, what is the cache versus persistent for caching the data in the Spark memory. Then you should know Spark architecture. Let's suppose when you submit any Spark job on the cluster, what happened in the backend. So you can mention that when we submit any application, it will convert into multiple jobs based on the action function present in the jobs. Then it convert into multiple stages and then finally convert the multiple stages into the multiple tasks. Okay, so this type of question they will definitely ask in the Spark round, because Spark is mostly purely a conceptual question plus coding question, and they will give one data frame question. They will ask me write a PySpark code. So this is normal question. I have written the code properly. After that, you should know broadcast join, different tuning configuration in Spark. Okay, like adaptive query execution. Then they ask Spark data frame scenario based question. So they give me a sample data CSV file, and they ask me some different question, like add a new column with column, remove the column. Okay, you apply the map function, filter function, convert the data frame into pandas data frame. From pandas data frame, they ask like how to optimize the pandas data frame. So this type of conceptual question and some type of conversion question in the data frame they ask in the second round of the interview. Now coming to the second, in the second round also they ask some question on SQL and pandas. So definitely I will advise you to focus on SQL and pandas. So SQL you can focus on SQL joins, then focus on window function is very important, then focus on SQL fundamentals and SQL group by function. Okay, these are the topic you should know, and in terms of theory part and in terms of coding part you have to practice on that question. You can use the SQL Ju and SQL lead code question for solving the SQL interview question. Okay, now coming to the pandas. So they ask me some question on pandas, like scenario based question. So you can see the question in the screen that write a code if you have 3 files which can be CSV file and you want to consume this file in a pandas data frame. So simple example, let's suppose you have you want to create a pandas data frame on top of 3 files which can be CSV, it can be any file. He asked me to remove the column from this data frame, remove any rows based on index. Let's suppose I give index position 0. I want that please remove the index 0 row. Okay, so this type of question they ask. They want to ask me search a string in the whole data frame. Let's suppose I want to apply the rejects. Let's suppose I want to find the keyword. Let's suppose search. Example, I want to search the keyword. Let's suppose hello. So I have to that is searching technique to search the word in the complete data frame. So like adding new column, removing the column, removing the null column, search the string. How you will find that? So they ask me to write that some basic logic code on the notepad to find the pandas. So I have to use the pandas library to solve this coding question. Now coming to the next part, which is a you can see as a JP Morgan round on the basically on the SQL Python is completed. Now they ask question on the AWS side. Okay, so like AWS side, AWS cloud optimization. So you can see in my screen definitely in the cloud part we have to focus on big, like cloud optimization technique. Like I worked on AWS mostly, so they ask question on AWS like S3 bucket, and if you are worked on GCP and Azure, you can mention about the blob storage and GCS bucket. So they ask me like how to optimize the cost. So I tell multiple ways where we can do the cost optimization. First is applying the lifecycle policy. We have the feature in lifecycle policy in S3 bucket for removal of the files which are older than some threshold period. We can use the spot machine instead of using the demand machine. So there are different optimization techniques you have to mention in your resume, and even you have to tell in the interview if they ask. Then they ask some question on the data warehousing, like I worked on Redshift, so they ask some optimization technique in Redshift. How you can use cloud in your company project, like which cloud you use. Okay, what are the services you have you worked on. Okay, so they ask some question on, let's suppose I have a PySpark code, I want to integrate with the data lake. So data lake in the market, data lake can be Hoodie, it can be Delta Lake, but mostly companies are using Delta Lake because Delta Lake is purely matured by the Databricks. Okay, so they ask me, let's suppose I want to write a data frame data into the Delta Lake instead of using a Parquet file. So what is the benefit of using the Delta Lake on our top of Parquet file? What is the versioning in the Delta Lake? Okay, and they can ask some question question on what is the vacuum process in the Delta Lake. So this type of question they ask me, and they ask some question on the big data like Hive, what is the like different Hive optimization technique. They ask question on what is Tej execution engine, because in Hive we have two types of execution engine. One is MapReduce engine and one is the Hive engine. Okay, so they ask some type of question on the execution engine in the Hive. So this type of question like optimization technique, cloud services like Redshift, and some types of cloud service like I worked on EC2 machine, Redshift, Data Lake. I worked on different service like Kubernetes, EKS, Presto. So they ask some question on the resume also from the like related to the cloud only. So this round is went well. Also I cleared the second round as well in the data engineer JP Morgan. Second round is based on SQL, Python, AWS, plus like you can say the previous resume building part, and some question on the Java, some question on the big data concept. So this question I asked by the interviewer in the interview. Now next round happened with the Techno Managerial round. Techno Managerial round is like some technical questions, some behavioral question they ask by the. This round is taken by the vice president of the JP Morgan. So this round is basically mostly based on my introduction, my expertise in technical skill set, my resume deep dive. So I worked on research paper, some question on research paper, what technology I used in research paper for design the web crawler. So they ask some question on the data engineer skills like Python, Spark, AWS, and behavioral question. So in this round I will suggest you, if you are going for any Techno Manager round, you have to justify yourself, your resume, because they will deep dive. Techno Manager round is totally based on technical plus behavioral question. They will not ask you to write the code. They will ask some cross question from your resume. It's like cost optimization. They ask question on the data lake with Databricks. What are the services I use on Databricks? Like I mentioned SQL endpoint. I made Overwatch. I made multiple open source tool I worked on. Like I worked on Presto. I worked on Zeppelin. So this type of things they ask. They ask question on Spark streaming, what is watermarking, what is the back pressure. This type of question they ask. And finally they ask one question on cloud optimization in the AWS services, because I worked on AWS mostly. So they ask question on that. But ultimately in general way I will advise you, if you are going for a Techno Manager round, you should able to answer your any question which are coming from your resume, because you have to justify your resume what you have written. They can ask any question from your resume. So this is a tips and feedback to you and everyone who are watching this video. Please concentrate on the resume. Let's suppose you have written 10 lines, so please read the 10 line before going to the interview. If any question comes from the what you have written in the resume, you have to justify your lines, because if you don't able to justify your line, it shows that you have written the fake experience, and you can say that fake projects in your resume to get shortlisted. So please, it's my humble advice to you, please focus on the resume, what you have written in the resume. Please focus on the keywords, and please focus on the projects that you already worked on, okay, before going for the Techno Manager round. Now coming to the next interview. Now final round happened with the director round, which is a behavioral round and mostly very less technical round. So this round is taken by the director, senior director of the JP Morgan Chase. So I was asked to introduce myself. Then there is some discussion on the projects, my previous experience, how my some question on the agile methodology, because in the if you are going for any interview in the terms of Techno Manager round and some director and vice president round, I will advise you should be able to answer question on HDLC and agile, because they will focus on that. Like let's suppose you have given multiple tasks which are the P1 tasks. So how you will handle the multiple tasks at the same time, because you have story points, okay, and let's suppose you have a story point for each task P1 5 story point. So how you will tackle the situation. So they will ask some behavioral question, situational question, in which you have faced through. They will ask question on under which condition you achieve the award by the manager, you have done the great impact in terms of cloud optimization, like in saving the cost by 50%, 30%. So they will ask some achievement you have made in your companies which help to save the company cost in terms of cloud part, because cloud cost is much costly, okay, in terms of database, Snowflake and GCP, AWS and Azure. So definitely they will focus on have you worked on any cloud optimization, have you worked on an optimization of the service where you have saved a lot of cost of the projects, okay. Then definitely ask some question on Kubernetes, because I have written Kubernetes in my resume, EKS, which is basically question on database where you have used database and where you want to use Spark, open source Spark. So they will ask some question, and definitely they deep dive in resume, not much type. This round is not very technical, there is normal discussion happening with the director, but it's like it can be a rejection round also, because you have to justify your resume, plus you have to answer the question in proper way in the behavioral question. Like I told you question how to handle situation in like a situation, let's suppose you have given the priority task, okay, and you don't know how to start this question, this like project one task, okay, but you have to deliver this task at the end of the sprint, which is 1 week or 2 weeks, okay. But they can ask like let's suppose you want to take 3 weeks and 4 weeks. So how you will inform your manager, I am not able to complete this task within 2 weeks due to some reasons, please allow me more 2 weeks. So like they will ask your thinking skills, how you will tackle the situation if you are in the some trouble situation, or in the situation where you have to face the difficulties and you have to manage the difficulty to overcome the difficulty, so that you can deliver your results at the time. So they will ask different question on the like behavioral question and some very less technical question, but this round goes very well, and finally I got the offer from JP Morgan Chase. And I will at the end I will advise you, if you are going for any interview in the company like JP Morgan, any big MNC company, it can be startup, it can be product based company, I will advise you in short way, focus on SQL, Python, data structure, algorithm, Spark, data modeling, and some question on cloud optimization, and some question on resume deep dive, because these things you should know before going for any interview. It can be any company, for a product based company, and for any fintech companies, for cracking the data engineer role in a top product based companies. So this is the complete interview experience for the JP Morgan for the data engineer role. Hope you like this video, and if you like this video, please watch it and share it and subscribe it. Thank you, and thanks for watching the video. Best of luck. Thank you.